advocated for me and elected me as chancellor because I had earned his trust. The vote passed.
If Bryson is the bad guy, then we lose. Bryson, you're not the bad guy, right?
Brayden was so angry that I had deceived him that he literally grabbed me, threw me on the table, and strangled me as I laughed. All while Jen watched in horror. What a great introduction to the family. Somehow she ignored that red flag and married Brody anyway. The warnings were there. She signed up for this, so that's on her. And I'm not married. Speaking of board games, I only remember playing Monopoly once. All I remember is someone getting angry, grabbing the metal airplane piece, and throwing it like a ninja star out of anger. It missed and stuck into the wall. Good thing, too, it could have stabbed someone's eye out. I don't remember who threw it, but I know in my heart that it was Brayden. Anyway, as me and Brayden grew, we became best friends. Siblings are crazy like that. You spend your whole life fighting each other, and then one day you're both like,
He was my best friend all along.
Brayden has blossomed into a great man, and I love him like a brother.
Wait.
Hi, welcome to Bryson's Cooking Show. Today we are cooking... First add cereal, then... Bryson, what if I like pouring the milk first? As I was saying, first add cereal, then milk, and voila, we've got cereal. What? Wait, no.
The gates of hell open wide to receive thy soul. Now submit thyself to unending torment.
No, please, I'm a good boy. Oh no. Oh, please save me. Hi, I'm Bryson, and I once started a grease fire in my house. And believe it or not, this is not the first fire that the Haminations family has endured. Let me start at the beginning. Now, almost all these stories revolve around one sibling, the pyromaniac of the family, my oldest brother, Brody. Now, before I decimate my brother's reputation, slander his name permanently, and ensure that he's never allowed within 500 feet of a lighter ever again, let me just preface with this. I love you, Brody. Our journey begins when Brody was 3 years old. I remember it like it was yesterday. Except I wasn't even born yet. My family was visiting our grandparents and uncles, and my Uncle Mark decided to have some bonding time with Brody. It remains a mystery to this day what Uncle Mark was thinking, but he decided to teach Brody how to use a lighter and how to lock doors. Two essential skills for any 3-year-old, obviously. In one fell swoop, this knowledge transformed Brody from a harmless toddler to a dangerous fire hazard capable of burning the house down. Brody put his knowledge to use immediately. He locked himself in Grandma's room, hid under the bed, and started melting the wax under there. The bottom of the bed began to burn, and the wax started melting down onto the carpet. The family smelled the smoke and ran around the house looking for Brody. Oh my God! Okay, it's happening! Everybody stay calm! Everybody stay calm! What's the procedure? But the door was locked. When they finally got in, they saw Brody with a lighter in hand, standing next to a burning bed. They put the fire out quickly as Brody watched. Even though it wasn't there, I can imagine Brody grinning to himself, because born inside him at that moment was a flame that would never go out. This was the beginning of a lifetime of pyromania. My parents were rightfully mad at Uncle Mark, and years later they got back at him. Uncle Mark's son was very young, and my parents were visiting. Hey, little guy, come here. I'm going to teach you how to use a lighter. No! No! No!
Give it up and down.
Does your family have a pyromaniac, or are you normal?
My main goal is to blow up.
The next incident happened 1 year later. Brody was 4, and I remember it like it was yesterday. Except I was still not born yet. Mom was outside the house talking to a friend, and Brody was inside unattended. He decided that he wanted a hot dog. He had seen our parents use the microwave before and thought, oh, I just need to put it in the microwave, hit a couple buttons, and hit start. So that's exactly what he did. But he unknowingly set it to over an hour. A while later, Mom's friend noticed smoke coming out of the windows in the house. Mom ran inside in a panic and found Brody with his hot dog. I tried to make a hot dog, but all I got was a piece of poop. The hot dog was reduced to a flaming carbon crisp, burnt to the very core. And that's how my family house almost got burnt down by a hot dog. Then the next year, when Brody was 5, he got glasses. This time I remember it clearly. Except I still hadn't been born yet. Once again, he was left unattended in the kitchen. Brody found a lighter, sat on the counter, and began lighting it over and over. You know, for entertainment. Then he thought, I wonder if my glasses are fireproof. He slowly began to raise the lighter closer and closer to his face, and the lens cracked. Mom? What was that noise? Did you break your glasses? Yes. And that's just the tip of the iceberg, or fireberg. Brody, in his teenage and adult life, has regularly set paper towels on fire on the counter, started fires outside for no reason, and put tinfoil in the microwave. I'm not even joking. Hey, Brody, what are you cooking? And when Brody was 6, he had to be held on a leash whenever he would go out. Yeah, he was one of those kids. However, even the leash could not contain his chaotic nature, because somehow, in one day, Brody set off a car alarm, an elevator alarm, and an airport alarm. If you haven't figured it out yet, let me just spell it out for you. Brody was a menace to society. He's still a menace, but his wife keeps him in check. Most of the time. Now, all these stories were about Brody, but this isn't Brody's channel. Now it's time to talk about how I started a fire. But at least it was an accident, unlike Brody, who set stuff on fire on purpose. Also, all Brody's stories happened when I was just an unborn soul vibing in the quantum abyss. I kinda miss it. Anyway, on to my grease fire story. At this point, I had finally been born, and I was about to start a family recipe with my roommate, Dallin. The chicken was defrosting, and it was almost ready. So I put some oil in a pot and set the stove on low to heat up and be ready for the chicken. At least I thought I did, but I accidentally put the heat on maximum overdrive. Then I got distracted talking to Dallin and forgot all about the chicken.
Yes.
After a while, the room suddenly started filling with smoke. I wonder what that could be. We looked and saw a plume of smoke coming from the pot. As I ran over to try and fix my horrible mistake, the smoke caught fire and blazed forth an eerie orange glow. I saw into hell in that moment, and the face of Satan stared back at me. Then, for an excruciating couple seconds, I sat there frozen, wondering what to do. Have you heard the term fight or flight? Well, there's actually a third option, freeze. And my brain chose freeze. Dallin saw that I was paralyzed and quickly jumped into action. He grabbed a bowl and carefully covered the pot and extinguished the flame. I was so embarrassed that my big, strong roommate had to save me. I very gingerly helped get rid of the smoke by opening the windows. I cooled and cleaned the pot and very carefully finished the recipe.
So good and tasty?
I also apologized profusely to Dallin, who insisted that it wasn't a big deal. I honestly can't properly explain how embarrassed and ashamed I was. I was just trying to be an adult and make a meal, and I almost burned my house down. But I learned a valuable lesson. The lesson is, have a roommate who's not afraid of fire. I will be more careful in the future, and hopefully next time I won't freeze. To end things off, I want to encourage you all to be careful and cautious when cooking, because you could literally die. Also, stay away from Brody or he will burn down your house. Fortunately, fire won't be an issue for me, because since my fire incident, I have mastered waterbending. And I've mastered firebending. Don't do this, Brody. Don't challenge me. It won't end well. you, brother.
Gear baby bike. I took it to the top of the hill by our house and rode down. It was so fast and exhilarating. I turned into our driveway toward our parking bay and tried braking by pedaling backwards, because that's how my little bike worked. But this was a big boy bike. Pedaling backwards did nothing. It was too late. Brittany's first reaction to other people getting hurt is to laugh hysterically and try not to pee. I think it's because she's been desensitized to pain from watching all those true crime documentaries.
Her arms were cut off. Her legs were cut off. Her ears were cut off. Her tongue was cut off. Her nose was cut off. Her eyeballs were plucked out.
But regardless of her obsession with murder, she was very sweet to little old me, and I'll always remember her taking me to Chuck E. Cheese and playing Deal or No Deal together. I still remember our winning strategy.
That's the thing. No deal. That's the thing. No deal. Now, let's open your case.
You win!
Although she wasn't always so nice to me. One time when I was very young, we were moving into a new house, and little me wanted to wear a paint lid as a hat. When the paint lid would fall, I would cry. Brittany kept coming back to put it back on my head to comfort me, but it kept falling off and I kept crying. So obviously, she glued the paint lid to my head. Mom had to shave my head in order to get the lid off. My hair was ruined!
This is my bread and butter. I can't have you messing up my bread and butter, dude.
Anyway, eventually Brittany started dating and she brings this guy home. I was maybe 7 and we were chilling on the beanbag and playing phone games when all of a sudden the guy says,
It's like really awkward that your little brother is here.
like, excuse me, this is my house. It's really awkward that you're here, chump.
Oh, I want an empty room so that we can get to the kissing part of the night, even though it's our first date.
That's mighty presumptuous of you, forehead. Brittany, this guy's no good for you. Kick him to the curb. I didn't really say that, but I thunk it. Anyway, she dumped him. Then her next boyfriend was Kyle. One time he was babysitting me and I made him watch Danny Phantom with me all day. I also remember showing up at his house one time, inviting myself in, and playing a skateboarding game with him. Then he gave me a toy car, and that was enough for him to get my blessing to marry Brittany. Anyway, they're married now, just like all my other older siblings. Flash forward, I was in high school and Brittany and Kyle were living in Mom's basement. One night we heard Brittany and Kyle yelling downstairs and I got a half-hour lecture from my parents about how hard marriage is. I mentioned it to them the following day and they said, "Oh, we were just watching a hockey game and we were excited." And I was like, "Well, then I got a big lecture about nothing." During this time, Brittany had to stop by a car shop with me in the car. She asked if I could run in and grab some stuff for her car.
Hey Bryson, I need you to go in the store and ask for blinker fluid. I'm out.
Okay. Do you guys have blinker fluid?
What fluid?
Blinker fluid.
Someone's pulling your leg, young man. Blinker fluid isn't a thing.
What? Let me go ask my sister. I'm gonna pee! She pranked me, but then I pranked her back by making a video about it and monetizing it. So, who really won? Now, while living together, Mom and Brittany had a few arguments. I don't even remember what the arguments were about, but eventually, after an argument escalated for a while, it would get to the point where they would stop trying to resolve it and instead just try to deal as much emotional damage as possible. And this was my favorite one. I was chilling in Mom's room. Brittany came in and they started rehashing an argument from earlier that day. It escalated and they yelled for a while, then Brittany stormed off. And as she did, Mom said, "Did I ruffle a feather?"
You don't be that disrespectful to any of your other kids and I won't stand for it!
So that was fun. Don't worry, Mom and Brittany are all good now. But in retrospect, I would say yes. Mom did indeed ruffle a feather. Now it's time to talk about Brittany's kids. My nephews, Hank, Brock, and Jack. I love my nephews. They're huge improvements from the source material. Anyways, I take being the favorite uncle very seriously. Piggyback rides, puzzles, and stuffed animals galore. I also teach them valuable life lessons. What do we do when someone is mean to us? That's right! Violence! Can you say violence?
Violence.
Good! Be resourceful about it too. Throw rocks, bite people, push them down the stairs, all that good stuff.
Okay.
But for real, I do try to influence them positively in whatever way I can. Bad.
Bad.
Good.
Good. Uncle Bryson, are we getting paid for this?
No.
I'm a voice actor, and voice actors get paid.
No! No money for you!
You know what? I'm calling my agent.
Yeah, right. Like you have an agent.
Dad,
What's wrong, buddy?
he's not paying me.
That's a lie. He's lying.
He won't pay me.
Here's a funny story for each of the boys. One time, I tied a laundry basket behind this little go-kart thing we had, and I put Hank in it, and I would drive him around the kitchen floor. It was a huge hit. He loved it. I would also do the occasional power slide, but one time I slid too hard, and... So that was fun to explain to Brittany. Another time, Brittany was outside her house talking to a friend. Brock kept coming out, tugging on her arm, and asking for her attention. But Brittany kept telling him to wait inside and that she would talk to him when she was done. Now, Brock is usually sweet, but this brought out the sourness in him. That's why we call him Sour Patch Kid.
You ruled the day. You neglected me, Mother.
Brittany finished talking and went to go inside, but the door was locked. Brittany told Brock to unlock it, but he just stared at her, challenging her authority. Finally, Brittany climbed through the window and yelled, "Oh, you better run!" But Brock just stood his ground and stared at her defiantly as she approached, as if to say, "I do not fear you, Mother. I'll spare you what happened next." Jack is just the cutest little sweet pea ever. But when visiting, I would often be holding him and... But what really stuck with me was when I found him trying to eat a baby wipe. I tried to take it from him, but he stared at his hand and then at me, holding tight to the wipe. I struggled against his grip as he stared. Finally, I used both hands to pry his hand open. Why did a baby have me questioning my strength? I love visiting and having fun with the boys. They also watch my videos, and Hank has some of them memorized. He can quote them better than I can. Hey boys, who's your favorite uncle?
Bryson, the other uncles are cringe.
Ha! Yes, I'm the best guy ever.
You know what? Don't flatter yourself, pal. I'm sick of you fishing for compliments all the time. Stop using me as a prop in your narcissistic online circus. Your whole channel is just a pathetic, thirsty attempt to fill that gaping hole in your heart. But guess what? No amount of praise can fix a massive amount of insecurity. External validation won't fix you. Have some self-awareness and go to therapy or something. You worthless little psycho. Hank's right. Why didn't adults see compliments from small children? You're cringe, buddy.
What? To end this video off, I thought me and Brittany could reminisce together about some of our other favorite memories together. Please enjoy.
Bryson and I had very different moms growing up. I had the mom who was on me. If I wanted to go anywhere, it was, who are you going with? What time are you going to be back? If you're not back by this time, then this. And now, my brothers just can do whatever they want. My mom's tired. She told me she is just tired and done parenting.
Well, I never wanted to. I just stay home all the time.
Yeah. I've only stolen one thing in my life, and I was about 4 or 5 years old, and we went to a fabric store, and there was a pumpkin with gum in it. My mom told me I couldn't have it. We got back in the car, and she looked at me in the rearview mirror with her piercing eyes as I was chewing bubble gum. She looked at me and said, "Brittany, what are you chewing?" And I said, "Gum." And she goes, "Where'd you get it?" And I said, "This store we were just at." She turned that car around so quickly, marched me back into the store, proceeded to make me tell that I had stolen the bubble gum. Then we left and drove next door to the police station, where she got an officer, pulled me out of the car, and asked them, "What happens if you steal?" And the police officer said, "You go to jail." And my mom turned around and looked at me and pointed and said, "She just stole a pack of gum from the fabric store." And I thought I was going to jail. Needless to say, that's the first and the last time that I stole anything.
What if the officer just arrested you on the spot? It's like, she's going to juvie, and mom's like, "Wait, my lesson isn't working the way I thought."
She's 5 years old. So I actually did end up in jail. I was a nurse in a jail. One time I came home from a long 15-hour shift at the jail, and I'd walk in and see Bryson sitting in the same pajamas that he's been in all day, slurping down a bowl of cereal. I'd look at him with disgust and ask, "How much money did you make today?" Let's just say he made a lot more than I did.
She's not salty or anything. Well, that was fun. In conclusion, Brittany is my favorite sister. Wait.
Cracked windshield? Get it fixed now and pay later at SafeLight.com.
Our new Black Forest gummy bears are made with real fruit juice, irresistible fruity flavors and a delightfully soft texture. Now juicier and more delicious than ever. Black Forest. Real juicy, real good.
Hey, really quick, consider supporting the channel by checking out the merch store for a cool bundle that comes with a free t-shirt. While you're there, take a look at the plushies, the board game, and the sketchbook. Link below. Thank you.
It's a Wii. Wow, this is gonna be so fun.
Look, the Me channel. I want to make a Me.
Don't worry, I'll make one for you. You're probably too dumb to figure it out.
What?
I said you're too young to figure it out. And there. That's what you look like.
Hi, I'm Bryson, and today we're going to talk about how a fun childhood hobby slowly devolved into a hellish war of spiteful competition. How the shame and humiliation of losing festered inside me and drove me to do anything in my power to destroy my siblings. I'm talking, of course, about the Italiano Paisano himself.
Okay.
But before we delve into my villain art, let's go back to a simpler time, when I was taking my first baby steps into the world of video games. It was all so new to me. It felt like I was a pioneer exploring a different galaxy. Super Mario Galaxy, the game where you traverse the universe as everyone's favorite Italian plumber. If you haven't played this game yet, change that immediately. When I play this game now, it feels like that scene from Ratatouille. It enthralled me as a child with its constant stream of new and inventive platforming ideas. After watching Brody play Galaxy for a while, I decided to graduate from game watcher to game player. Move over, Brody. Mom said it's my turn on the Xbox. Immediately, the soundtrack in this game changed my brain chemistry to work. The people who made this music know what Joyous Whimsy sounds like. When I hear Gusty Garden Galaxy, it makes me believe that anything is possible. The world fades away, I float into the air, and I enter the world of the game. This was one of the first video games I ever played, so I had a lot to learn. Jumping between gravity-defying planets and walking upside down took a lot of getting used to. I collected a few stars and then headed to the Loop-de-Loop Galaxy. And let me tell you, this level broke Little Bryson. In the level, you ride around a floating water race course on a Stingray. But I wanted to get to my score. I wanted to go fast. So my thumb never let go of the acceleration button, and that meant I couldn't make sharp turns. I kept flying off the map and dying. And to make it worse, I had to use motion controls. I couldn't beat it no matter how hard I tried. I started crying, and Brody had to help me beat the level. This will go down in history as mankind's second greatest defeat involving Stingrays. But after that little hiccup, I was ready to take on the rest of the game and lose to Bowser 50 times. But Brody, being a seasoned veteran gamer, coached me on how to perfectly time my spin moves, and I used them to spin Bowser like a Beyblade. So long, Bowser! I was feeling pretty good about my newly acquired gaming skills. Beating Bowser as a child is a big deal, okay? At that age, what else do you have to be proud of? The drawings you made that Mom hung up on the fridge? Well, bad news. Mom will throw those crappy drawings away while you're not looking. But the achievement of defeating the King of the Koopas, that lasts forever. Then I arrived at the Rolling Green Galaxy. That sounds like a fun, easy, kid-friendly level. Not! If the Stingray race broke me, this one shattered me. In the level, you bounce on a ball that has a star inside it and use motion controls to lead the ball through obstacles and past Goombas to reach the end and unlock the star. And I just couldn't do it. I kept falling off, which made me impatient, which made me go faster, which made me fall off more, and the cycle just continued. At 6 years old, I just did not have the coordination or fine motor skills to beat this thing. But I was determined. I didn't want to ask Brody for help again. I wanted to be a big boy gamer. I hunkered down and died over and over for an hour straight. But then finally, I got past the spot where I usually fell. I was close to the end. I shakily crossed a bridge, and the flag came into view. My hands were shaking. The adrenaline was pumping. I could almost taste my victory. I walked over to the last island. I had made it. I tilted my Wiimote all the way forward, but I literally tripped
arrived at the finish line. My confidence was shattered, and I had to go collect myself in the other room. But I would not let this fiery crucible break me. I would allow it to forge me into something stronger. I stepped back in and entered Ultra Instinct mode, and I finally beat it. And that's when I felt it. The gamer's high. All my dopamine receptors fired, and I jumped for joy.
This is the greatest day of my life!
I had emerged victorious and was ready to take on the universe, literally. I cruised through the rest of the galaxies. Nothing could hold me back. An icy hot galaxy where you skate around and fight a lava octopus? No problem. A haunted mansion galaxy where you save Luigi? Light work. A galaxy made of toys where you run across twisting platforms shaped like Mario? Child's play.
Light work, no reaction. Light work, no reaction. Light work, no reaction.
I'm always trying to learn about money and finance.
Okay.
You build your credit, a new credit card.
All my nightmares had materialized. It was an even harder version of the previous one. Skipping ahead for 2 hours of pain and agony, and I finally beat it. Yahoo! I'm honestly convinced that this game widened my emotional range. It's like Newton's third law. The more suffering you experience, the more capacity you have for joy. And believe me when I tell you, those levels had me suffering. Then I saved Princess Peach or whatever. This game's revolutionary gravity mechanics, top-tier level design, and whimsical soundtrack earn it an easy 100 pricing points. But we couldn't have the game that sent Mario to space without the game that sent Mario into a whole different dimension. Super Mario 64, an all-time classic. It paved the way for so many games to enter the third dimension. I'm still waiting for Super Mario 65 to come out though. I literally can't describe the pure primal fear Little Bryson experienced when seeing that giant chain chomp for the first time. And don't even get me started on that Koopa the Quick Race. I hate this stupid turtle so much. I just couldn't beat him. But then, one day, Brody let me in on a little secret. He's gonna win the race again!
See that little hole in the wall? Go in.
How is this supposed to...
See that beam of light? Look up. Follow that coin trail going into the wall. Yes!
The sense of accomplishment and amazement at discovering these secrets for the first time was enough to form a core memory, even though I needed help to find them. It was a really nice change of pace to get help from Brody on finding secrets, because usually he pulled the classic move of giving me an unplugged controller and gaslighting me into thinking I was really playing. Am I really playing? Mario isn't listening to me, and this controller isn't even plugged in.
You're actually playing as that baby penguin.
Oh, cool! Back in my day, there were no video game tutorials on the internet. The only way I could learn what I needed was through rumors on the playground and hints from my brothers. So this information was very valuable. Then Brody taught me how to backwards long jump and travel at the speed of light. Obviously this game is great, but me and my brothers usually played the remastered version on the DS. They added some mini games that we would play together all the time. Some of my favorites were the Hidden Face game, the Bob-omb sorting one, and the one where you draw little trampolines for Mario to jump on. And I think it's absolutely insane that there are definitely people out there with gambling addictions that were caused by Luigi teaching them how to do it. But there was also a multiplayer game where you fight each other to get the most stars, and my brothers and I took it very seriously.
Bryson's got 3 stars. Brayden, Brenner, get it.
Stay back! I earned these!
Sneak attack!
Mom! Brayden stole my star!
No, Cap, it's giving little brother energy. Brayden obviously ate with that, and you're delulu if you think I'm gonna punish him for slaying. You gotta let him cook. Don't let your mentee bee get in the way of his stuff. Just hope and take the L, for real, for real.
But the brotherly rivalry was just getting started. Let's turn up the heat and move on to the game that's been causing relationship-shattering screaming matches for decades. Mario Party, a family-friendly party game. This game introduced a whole new emotion to me, bloodlust. One thing you should know about this game is that when I win, it's because of pure skill, but when you win, it's because you got lucky and those stupid bonus stars don't even count. When creating a game, it's important to strike a good balance between skill and luck. And in a lot of people's opinions, Mortal Kombat. Our sibling rivalry seemed to leak into every aspect of our lives, and video games were no exception. Even being player one was a big deal. If my Wiimote connected first, Brody would shit his pants and disconnect all the controllers and resync them until he was player one. We also played the DS version of Mario Party on family road trips, and I remember screaming my lungs out over losing minigames. Something about this game is just a recipe for white-hot rage and malice. I guess that's why it's good at parties, because you get to see everyone's true colors. And it's always so tense when Toad announces the final score. Okay, I've got 4 stars and 46 points. Everyone else only has 3, so I should come out on top.
Time to announce the bonus stars. The first star goes to the player that travels the least amount of spaces. Brenner!
Okay. I still got more coins with him, so as long as he doesn't get the second one, I'll win.
And the next star goes to the player that lost the most minigames. Brenner! I'll kill you!
In one game, I was doing very well for myself. I had several stars and a whopping 270 coins. But this was the Spaceland map. If the center platform gets stepped on 5 times, Bowser's spaceship shoots a giant laser across the board. And of course, I was right in the crosshairs.
Hey, no, stop. Just calm down. Don't do it.
I started resorting to more drastic measures to try and beat my brothers. There's a mini game where you have to mash the A button as fast as you can, and I decided to tip the scales in my favor. I grabbed a massage gun and put it on max speed on my palm, which caused my fingers to vibrate insanely fast. Then I put my finger on the A button and... As the second youngest, my older brothers were always so much better than me at everything. And honestly, so was Brenner. He was spat out the room knowing how to use an iPad and was 360 no-scoping noobs while still in diapers. I wanted to win something for once. I just hadn't found the right game.
Kinder Joy just sent over a bunch of their new Harry Potter Funko Pop eggs. I am really excited to get into this. So, when you open them up, they actually split in half where one side is the sweet treat and the other is the toy.
New skimming by L'Oreal Paris. Up to 48 hours semi-permanent wear. Yet light as any fuel black.
Mario Kart. I don't consider myself to be a very competitive person, but as you've seen here today, video games are the exception, especially Mario Kart. Fortunately, my spirit of competition is well placed because I'm amazing at Mario Kart and you can't beat me. But I wasn't always this way. It all started, of course, with Mario Kart DS. My brothers and I would race each other for dominance, but I didn't understand the drift mechanics, so I would just kind of turn and throw bananas. And I could never beat my brothers. When they finally did show me how to drift, it took a lot of getting used to. You have to wiggle the D-pad back and forth in order to build up a charge that boosts you forward, and it was really hard for me to manage that while controlling the trajectory of my turns at such a young age. Clearly, that being said, this is the first time that becoming better than my brothers at something didn't seem impossibly out of reach. I wanted to win at something for once, and I could feel the potential within myself. I wanted to be player one, so I hunkered down and continued my training. Wait, I'm first! I'm gonna win! Eventually, we graduated from Mario Kart DS to Mario Kart Wii. This is the one that I played the least because I already established I don't play most of the games. Also, apparently using a bike is the only viable option because doing a wheelie is just free acceleration, so that's pretty dumb. It didn't help me develop my skills at all, but it definitely added some great fun. And using the plastic Wiimote was real fun instead. Look, Mom, I'm driving!
He's never getting his license.
Then I entered the training grounds worthy of my potential. Mario Kart 7. They added kart
Stop.
customization, underwater sections,
Stop.
gliders, and a
You're bumping into me, Paul.
and a much better drifting system. This was definitely the best Mario
Thank
Kart.
you.
I learned the strategies, I learned the shortcuts, and I began to step into my power. I started to be a much bigger challenge for my brothers, and Brody and Brayden could feel the reign of terror slip me away as I won more and more.
Essentially, the most significant thing you could do in your life is die.
actually go farther than that. So, when Lakitu saves you, he thinks you're further along than you really were, so he puts you there, allowing you to skip ahead of everyone else. The first time I pulled this trick on my brothers was hilarious.
He's my duck.
Little did Brody know, history was about to change. But I was just getting started. I wanted more. And finally came Mario Kart 8 and 8 Deluxe. They added anti-gravity mechanics and a slew of amazing courses and cars. As the games got better, so did I. But it definitely took a while for me to get used to 200cc, where the carts go insanely fast. You actually have to use the brakes in order to turn sharp enough and not fly off the track. But after I mastered that, I became unstoppable.
They did not deserve to exist in this world. In my world. Prepare to join them. Prepare to die.
I hit the most Brody and Brayden so many times that I unlocked the final frontier of Mario Kart skill, a forbidden technique known as item smuggling. In the game, the strongest items are given to the people in the back of the race to even things out. Basically, you purposefully hang back in the race to cycle through the best items, and then use them to take shortcuts and sweep in at the last moment to steal a victory. This strategy is especially mean because if you succeed, someone is getting teased with a chance at a first place spot for the whole race, only for you to snatch it from them in the last second. I've done this countless times for family and friends to dunk on them, and I finally fulfilled my childhood dream of being better than my brothers at something. With my enemies defeated, my thirst for victory was finally quenched. Now, I know what you must be thinking. This guy must be pretty bad at everything else, but the only thing he can brag about is being good at a children's video game. And to that I say, yeah, that's pretty true. Just let me have this. Mario was definitely a great friend growing up, and I'll always have fond memories of playing games with my brothers. And it's been nice to finally defeat them. Little brother's gotta take what we can get. And in all seriousness, it was very sweet of Brody to always help me find hidden secrets and beat levels that were too hard for me. And I'm very happy to have so many great memories gaming with the boys.
So unfair.
Skill issue. Stay mad, honestly.
Alright, well played.
Thanks for watching. This was a huge video, so I appreciate you watching all the way through. It was fun to reminisce about growing up playing Mario games with my brothers. Don't forget to subscribe, check out the merch, and the Patreon in the description. Thanks, as always, to my amazing team of animators, storyboarders, background artists, and editors. You all help bring my creative visions to life. Thanks again to you for watching. Comment down below what your favorite part of the video was, and what your favorite Mario game is. Okay, I'm gonna go take a nap, or eat food, or both. Bye.
It's the personal price plan zero. If you bundle home and auto, that can be affordable price just for you. Bundle and save with the personal price plan. Lightning Maker, just cold with new stainless steel shipping cable. You're up with cable.
Every single one of their Gen 5 sitting TVs for me to rank. Turns out they really liked that video. So much, in fact, that they said, hey, Peter, awesome video. Why don't you come to Japan to watch the Pokemon 2023 World Championship? For free. You won't have to pay for your flights or hotel or nothing. I've been to Japan once before in my entire life, and it was back in 2018 with my family. We did a bunch of fun little Japanese tourist things. It was but ever since then, I've always wanted to go back and do all the awesome nerdy stuff Japan